Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Suzanne from Gamuda Parks. I'll be your moderator today. Welcome to our mini talk session entitled Recycling It Right, How to Reduce Waste from Landfills. Joining us today will be two speakers from two very well-known organizations. We have Nick Suzila, the co-founder of Cloth Care, and Francis Tan, a volunteer of Suci Foundation Malaysia, who will be talking about recycling in Malaysia. Without wasting any more time, I'd like to introduce to you Nick Suzila, our first speaker for today. Hi, Susie. Just a little bit about Susie. Cloth Care started when Susie and her friend Sarah, the co-founders, was promoting fabrics made from recycled plastic. That was in 2013. However, realizing that Malaysians needed a campaign awareness that is more basic, they decided to go back to fabric recycling. Most Malaysians do not know that our nation produces so much, at least 700,000 kgs of waste. Is that a day? Wow.
That is right. That is by SW Corp's latest data, 700,000 kilograms
per day. Okay. So as the co-founder of Cloth Care, Susie plays a critical role in putting in place strategies on how to keep unwanted fabrics away from the landfills, which is adapting to the circular economy. Now, Susie, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning and hello everyone. My name is Susie. I'm the co-founder for Cloth Care's fabric recycling movement. So thank you very much for having me as one of your speakers for Gamuda Land and Park International Day for Biological Diversity. So for your information, Cloth Cares is a movement consisting of three founding partners: Cloth Cares, which is me and Sarah and my team, Selangor Youth Community, and Lifeline Clothing Malaysia, and together we want to keep unwanted fabrics away from the landfills. So today, let's talk about Recycling 101, and let's go specific just on fabric recycling. Without further ado, I would like you to watch this video because I believe that picture paints 1,000 words. Over to you.
These are plankton. And those bright green specks inside their bodies are showing us what they're eating. It's not food. Those are tiny pieces of plastic. We hear a lot about pollution from single-use plastic items, like plastic straws and shopping bags, that are clogging marine habitats. Although these large pieces of plastic contribute the most to the overall mass of plastic polluting oceans, they count for a small share of the total number of plastic particles. That's because most of the plastic pieces in the oceans don't look like this. They're tiny particles that look like this, and where they're coming from might surprise you.
Modern fibers, alone or in blends with natural fibers, brought new innovations in cool, crisp, comfortable clothes.
Back in the 1940s, fabrics like nylon, acrylic, and rayon, all made from plastic, became really popular. These synthetic clothes were cheap to produce, comfortable to wear, and as more people have bought clothes for athletics and leisure, companies have been making more clothes out of plastic. By 2010, over half of all the fabric in our clothing was made from synthetic fibers. In the meantime, marine scientists noticed that habitats were being polluted with tiny pieces of plastic called microplastics. These are objects smaller than 5 millimeters and can be anything from tiny shards broken off larger items to microbeads developed for use in cosmetic products. Microplastics are found in marine habitats everywhere on Earth. Concentrations of microplastics have been found on coastal beaches in South Africa, the Great Lakes of North America, rivers in Britain, and at the bottom of an oceanic trench near Russia. Turns out, a large share of those microplastics are microfibers, tiny strands of plastic, and they're coming from our laundry. Looking at this fleece jacket up close, you can see that its fuzzy material is actually a fabric made from tiny strands of plastic woven together. When we wash a synthetic piece of clothing like this fleece, the fabric is pulled loose and tiny microfibers fall out. Scientists actually tested 3 types of synthetic clothing to see which types shed the most using a washing machine fitted with a special filter. They determined that acrylic shed the most microfibers, over 700,000 on the first wash alone, And even though fiber loss goes down after the first wash, the sheer number of people doing laundry adds up, making microfibers a huge contributor to the nearly 5 trillion pieces of microplastics that are floating around the world's oceans. In most dryers, there's a mesh screen to catch lint, but washing machines typically don't have a filter, so everything that falls off our clothes is flushed down the drain. And from there, microfibers might move through a sewage treatment plant, but the filters are often too large to stop them from passing through and flowing to a discharge point at a nearby marine habitat. Once they reach the ocean, microfibers are consumed by plankton and other filter feeders that eat debris falling to the sea floor. And then the plastic starts making its way up the food chain, passed on by predators feeding on organisms that have ingested microfibers. Eventually, it reaches us. Plastic enters human bodies when we eat seafood containing microfibers, like these, which scientists found in a piece of fish they bought at a seafood market. So, what can be done? Switching to other materials isn't feasible because synthetic clothes, they're cheap, a lot cheaper than making apparel with other fabrics. But what you can do is add a filter to your washing machine that would catch microfibers falling off when you do your laundry. Problem is, those are pretty expensive. So another solution is using filter bags that trap microfibers before they fall off into the wash when you do your laundry. But the most effective change of all would just be buying fewer synthetic clothes, or at least washing them less often. And what less often means, that's up to you. If you've gotten to this point in the video, you're probably the kind of person who would be curious in learning about something like astronomy. You know, what's out there in case we need to abandon this plastic-filled ship of our own making? Brilliant is a problem-solving website that teaches you to think like a scientist. They have courses on everything from calculus to astronomy and daily problems in math and science. To learn more about Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/box and sign up for free. The first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription, so you can view all the daily problems and unlock all the courses. Brilliant doesn't directly impact our editorial, but their support makes videos like this one possible. So go check them out, and thanks for watching.
Hi everyone. I hope you are enlightened and understand why you should keep unwanted fabrics away from the landfills, and also to be very aware and conscious of what you buy. Okay, so let's go through this. So as mentioned by Suzanne just now, it is anticipated that, by the government, the data has it that, about 700 kilograms are disposed on a daily basis. However, Clothcast has conducted surveys to university students, the community, and a lot of other stakeholders, and includes commercial and industries. And we anticipate it's actually about 5% or 2,000 tons a day are produced. And if it's not given a new life, it will definitely go into the landfills. So further to that, when fabric and textile waste decompose, a potent greenhouse gas called methane is released. Landfill methane emission affects climate change. So we need to divert textile waste away from the landfills. And I want you to know something. More than 150 landfills in Malaysia are now closed due to overflow of solid waste. And our government has to keep building new landfills, and it takes multi-millions of ringgit. So let's talk about numbers. So on a daily basis, we, municipal solid waste, we produce 38,000 tons of municipal solid waste. And if I were to give you a visualization, it can 5 days of municipal solid waste will fill up the KLCC towers. All right, so where are we now? So we are aiming for 30% recycling rate for Malaysia this year. And where we are now, we're about there, but we are not able to materialize our recycling rate if, number one, you do not separate it from the source. When it goes into the landfills, which means there's a no-go that we can achieve our target. So there are 2 types of waste. One is organic waste. Another one is solid waste like plastics, textiles, your aluminum, and a lot others. So these wastes are very serious because it takes a long time to biodegrade or decompose. I'll skip this slide. Okay, let's talk about fashion industry straight away. The fashion industry is a 2.5 trillion industry, and do you know that 1 out of 6 women in this world are involved in the textile industry along the value chain? So this is a very important industry, and it is the second highest contributor. It's the second highest contributor to carbon and water footprint, and is responsible for 10% of global carbon emission. It takes about 20 years to 200 years for fabrics to decompose. So there are two types of fabric, the organic and the synthetic. Most likelihood what you're wearing on a daily basis are synthetic fabrics, which are the popular ones, nylon, polyester, acrylic, and these are made from crude oil. That's the base. So as you know, it takes a long time or never for them to biodegrade. Why? It's because naturally it's oil. So if we will go to the landfills, that means we are in deep trouble. Next is, do you know that 95% of unwanted clothing can be recycled? Most people will be thinking that, okay, if I were to dispose your unwanted clothing, it is for the orphanages. But hello, what about your unwearable ones? It should be given a new life too in various ways. I'll get into that in a bit. Next, 85% of fabrics and textile are sent to the landfills. Well, it goes without saying it's because of the poor separation at source, and a lot of nations just dispose your unwanted clothing into your garbage bin together with the fish. That is really the problem. Next, more than 23 billion tons per year are not recycled. So 85%. So if you were to convert that into numbers, 23 billion tons per year. Can you imagine? So I kept talking about, giving a new life to unwanted fabrics, but what does it mean? How do we do it? So Cloth Care's fabric recycling movement is in partnership with Lifeline Clothing Malaysia. It's a fabric recycling factory based in Klang, and is the only, I was informed that it's the only accredited fabric recycling by ISO 40001-2005 in compliance with environmental management. So I'm going to give you a story. So Gamuda has adopted fabric bins. Thank you very much. I'm going to go through the fabric bin site in a bit, but let's just go through this. So if you see a Gamuda land fabric bin, what happens is that we will collect the bin with our truck. It's about 5-ton truck. And then we're going to bring it back to Lifeline Clothing Malaysia factory. At the factory, every fabric bin has a number. So we will weigh accordingly, so we will know, okay, this fabric bin has filled up, and then it has garnered so and so how many kilograms per collection. And after that, it will go through a sorting process. So we will sort it out manually, and there's about more than 300 factory workers at the factory according to type and grade. Number 1, we will grade it into A quality, which is the good and wearable condition. So what happens to the good and wearable condition? A, it will be donated to charitable organizations or export to the developing countries and third world countries as well. So a lot of people ask me, okay, which charitable organization? One of the major beneficiaries is Magna. So my partner, Lifeline Clothing Malaysia, will donate those to Magna. And also, Cloth Care's fabric recycling movement has formed partnership with many local universities, whereby we give away to the students to do two things. Number 1 is for their upcycling programs, and number 2, to give it away for the marginalized community. So we go on ground together with them. So B, I would say that more than 60%, 50 to 60% of the unwanted items that we receive are non-wearable. So it's torn, it's soiled, but with no chemicals. So what do we do with it? Do you know that your unwanted t-shirts, which are torn, can be cut into smaller pieces and we make it into industrial wiping cloth? And these industrial wiping cloth are mostly exported to Australia for industrial use. Moreover, we also make it into upcycled garments as well. I'll give you an example. If you have torn jeans, we can cut it into small pieces and we can make it into bags. Jeans zipper are very high quality. We can convert that into your bag zipper. And of course, last but not least, we also convert that into refuse-derived fuel or biofuel. We don't do it. Lifeline Clothing doesn't do it, but we have a partnership with another party. Next. So this is it. This is Lifeline Clothing Malaysia. That is my partner, Mr. Dil Warren. He's an Australian, but he stays here. So our aim is to take fabric recycling to the next level and keep it out from the landfills. As you can see, this is an industry where a lot of people ask, Susie, there is a lot of machines, like, I'm sorry, not much automation because we need human being during the sorting and segregation process. Only human being can do it. Right, so the next one. I mentioned just now we are a movement. A movement is basically a voice to educate people that, hey, you need to keep fabrics out of the landfills, and we have pledged to collect at least 2 million kilograms from August 2018 in 18 months. So as we speak, we have collected more than 600,000 kilograms in a span of 23 months. We could have achieved more, but of course, naturally, we had some problems in terms of logistics during MCO, but challenges is challenges. We have to keep on going and keep unwanted fabrics away from the landfills. So this is in a nutshell, more than 500,000. We have more than 300 fabric bins, which are located in Klang Valley, Melaka, and Negeri Sembilan. Our model is bin adoption, and these are adopted by corporate citizens. Gamuda is one of them, Bursa Malaysia, Shell, and a lot others. We want people to be part of the movement and feel the journey with us. Okay, let's talk about Gamuda Land. So you guys have adopted, look at that, 6 fabric bins in total, with a total collection of 6,861 kilograms. So what does it mean? Well, it means in our industry, the assumption is that 1 kilogram is equivalent to 6 pieces of t-shirt. So do your calculation, 6,000 kilograms times 6, you have collected more than 36,000 t-shirts altogether. Congratulations. That's your beautiful fabric bin. Thank you very much. So a lot of people ask us, so is it only garments? Is it only shoes? So the answer to that is this. You can donate your unwanted clothing, your shoes, your bags, your pillows, your linens. So I will be distributing this list through Gamuda later, and you can have the list, and you can go through your wardrobe and you can clean it up accordingly, according to the list. Do not give us books because we don't recycle books. And a lot of people ask us as well, how do you donate? Do you have to put it in a bag, or can you just deposit loose items? The answer to that is both. If you don't have any bags, don't buy a new bag. Just deposit your single piece loose item inside the fabric bin, because our collectors will put everything in a bag anyway, so not to worry about that. So I hope that you are enlightened. You understand that, number one, fabrics do not disappear. It has to be kept away from the landfills. If you're wearing anything which is made from polyester, nylon, acrylic, rayon, it will take up to 200 years for it to decompose. And what about cotton? I missed out that one. Well, if it's organic cotton, it will take about 6 months to 2 years for it to decompose. So again, it takes time and it will create methane gases. It will contribute to space, space in the landfills and costs for the government as well. So help me, help our environment. Let's keep unwanted fabrics away from the landfills. And I would like to end my short speech with a video. So over to you, and thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Susie, for the insightful information on your presentation. It's really worrying looking at the number. We usually look at our organic waste that you don't want it to end up in the landfill because it produces methane gas, which is highly more dangerous than the carbon dioxide. But this presentation really shows that there are so many other kinds of waste that will contribute to it, and one of it is actually this fabric. Now, it's also nice to see that you have worked with various institutions and corporations, and I hope that we will continue this good work together again. Now, moving on to our next speaker, we have Mr. Francis Tan, Zuchi
Hello.
Foundation. Hello. A little
Hi.
bit about him. He's a design consultant by profession. Joined Zuchi Foundation 7 years ago as a volunteer. Here, Francis became one of the active members of the Zuchi's environmental protection initiatives. To date, the foundation has set up 160 recycling centers and over 980 recycling points all across Malaysia. This is in hope to make environmental protection a way of life. He frequently conducts talks on environmental awareness to corporates, schools, and higher learning institutions. I asked him, what do you aspire for Malaysians to do? He aspires for Malaysians to change their habits and to start the practice of refusing and reducing waste. Now, let's hear from him. Without further ado, Mr. Francis, I hand over this platform to you.
Okay. Salam sejahtera. A happy morning to everyone. Okay. Before that, let me tell you how to pronounce 慈济. Actually, if a lot of people will not find it very difficult to pronounce, so you can just say suci. Okay, it means purity. Suci will do, right? And Yayasan Suci in Malaysia and also worldwide, our 4 mission covers charity, medical, education, and humanistic. Right, and part of the other footprints that we have is the recycling, which I'm going to talk to you about today about what is happening to our Mother Earth. All right, so let's see. We have actually only one home, which is our Mother Earth, and now it's in fashion. Everybody's putting up masks. Mother Earth, the whole world, everyone is putting up masks right now, right? Okay, all right. And as you know, Mother Earth is very, very sick right now. And Mother Earth is sick because of we humans are actually destroying the environment. And Mother Earth is actually punishing us now with this virus, right? So, global warming, should we care? Yes, we should. Because right now, as you know, the temperature of our Mother Earth is getting hotter and hotter, and weather is changing, right? Now, when it comes to global warming, what affects us, and also the other animals also are affected. Like in 2006, you know, in the North Pole, most of the polar bears are losing their homes because in year 2006, imagine year 2006 already, ice cap starts to melt. Yeah, and when it starts to melt, what happened? The result is most of these animals goes hungry, yeah, and they couldn't find food. Very difficult for them to find food, and they goes to human habitats. And the worst is, and very shocking, is that for them to target to find food, the easiest is to target the baby cubs. Yep. So all this is caused by what? Pollution, land, air, and water. All right. You talk about land pollution, where people will be using, buying and doing, throwing a lot of rubbish to the landfills. Yeah, and air pollution, as you know, we every time want to buy things, we keep on those things that actually we need, or do we really want it? Okay, some of these that I just keep on buying and buying and buying, and they start producing and producing, right? And as you know that water pollution is one of the main causes right now. Yeah, and the worst of all, my friend, is deforestation. Why deforestation? You can see in those days, Amazon forest was a beautiful forest with a very nice river. And the river, you can find all kinds of species of fishes and all kinds of plants. But right now, the whole forest should have bought up. Yeah. Why is it all bought up? Because of many causes. We talk about development, and then we talk about people want the wood to make paper, furnitures. But do you know that the worst of all is animal farming? I want you to watch this video, and you will understand what I mean by animal farming is one of the major causes of global warming, and what is the solution. All right, so today we are going to talk about the causes, the effect, and the solution. All right, so let's watch this video.
The more a country develops, the more meat its inhabitants consume. How can growing worldwide demand be satisfied without recourse to concentration camp-style cattle farms? Faster and faster, like the life cycle of livestock which may never see a meadow, manufacturing meat faster than the animal has become a daily routine. In grain, soy meal, and protein-rich granules that will become tons of meat. result is that it takes 100
Our global rainforests are essentially the planet's lungs. They breathe in CO2 and exhale oxygen. An acre of rainforest is cleared every second, and the leading cause is to graze animals and grow their feed crops. That is essentially an entire football field cleared every single second. And it is estimated that every day, close to 100 plant, animal, and insect species are lost due to rainforest destruction.
Okay, so as you can see, every second, the size of a football field of forest being cut, and you see how fast the machine can cut the tree. Instead of sending up to the factory to embark it, they can embark it immediately on the spot and cut it into pieces. Yeah, and so that is why we always encourage people to go take more vegetables than meat. Right, it would be best to become vegetarian, and that will be able to cut the emission of the carbon and destroy our Mother Earth, the atmosphere. Yeah. Okay. So, and then it comes to disaster with all this, and it's man-made disasters. Man-made disasters, as you can see, that they are like what I just mentioned about deforestation and other stuff there. And the next one is also on natural disaster that we face all the time. All right. So, earthquake. Yeah, everyone was saying that, oh, Malaysia is so lucky, no earthquake. But as you know, that Sabah and Sarawak are already hit by earthquake, and who knows, tak lama lagi it will reach to Semenanjung, Malaysia. Yeah, all right. So flood, flood. No need to show other country that there's a lot of flood. All right, in Malaysia itself, all right, Penang, you can see, and also in Kedah, and this is an annual thing happening. And tsunami, those days we talk about tsunami, 1 year once. But right now, no, it's 1 year at least 4 times tsunami strikes in everywhere in the country. Yep, right, next. Okay, and then we have hurricane and also fire. And you know, forest fire is one of the another annual things that's happening. And coming next month, hopefully, Indonesia don't start burning again. We have a real problem with our COVID here. And then again, we have the haze coming, all right. So what do you see in all this? Of course, with all this disaster, this is what you will face: destruction. Yeah, lives and family loss. Can you imagine a loved one beside you suddenly just disappeared? Yeah, and then immense suffering. People will suffer, food, no places, no place to stay. And everyone always says, is it act of God? No, it's actually I don't like English, because English always put all the bad things on man. For good things, they say Mother Earth. But when it comes to things that is bad, destroyed, act of man. Not like joking. All right. So it's all humans' work. All right. And scientists also agree that global warming is the cause of daily human activities, which is very true. Yeah. And you know Stephen Hawking? Yeah. Stephen Hawking says this. All right, we are in the danger of destroying ourselves by our greed and stupidity, which is very, very true. Now, what do you see here? Landfill. Landfill the most. What do you see in the landfill the most? Plastics. Yeah, plastics bags. You put all your rubbish in the plastic bag and then you throw it out to the landfill. Okay. As you know, you have seen in the papers, right? See how Mother Nature works. If you don't disturb Mother Nature will heal itself. Before MCO, look how polluted our river and sea is. And with the MCO, there's no activity, not much activity going on. And look how beautiful and how clean our river and sea is. Look at this river. This is in Indonesia, it's called Angker River. Yeah, when flood comes, every rubbish, everything will wash down to the river. Right? And you can't see even a patch of water, and all this will flow to the sea. And who suffers? Many marine life will suffer. Yeah. So what can we do to help Mother Earth? Well, very simple. We practice the 5R, right? Most of you will know maybe only the 3R, but let me tell you, the first most important 5R is refuse. All right, and then you come to reduce, reuse, repair. The last is only recycle. All right, I'm going to touch on refuse. All right, today, very important on these refuse things. Okay, I'm going to tell you what happened to me this morning. Okay, come. This morning, I was in a hurry. Okay, I said, I'm late, but I'm very hungry. So halfway, I saw a restaurant. This restaurant, I heard that they have very nice mee goreng. So I stopped there. Now, for us volunteer, we always have this habit of having our own container, food container. We carry our own food container and water container all the time. But unfortunately, this morning I forgot. So what I do is that, no choice, hungry. So I went tapao. So I go and see, hey, brother, tapao mee goreng for me. He said, oh, no problem, bro. Wow, he gave me this nice container to put the mee goreng. And then, wow, he gave me, wow, you see this spoon? Red color one. Every time you get is white, but this is red. Yeah. So he tapao for me. Wow, then, this mee, you go with this green chili jeruk, oh, very nice. I say, hey, bungkus, one packet of chili for me. So nice of him to bungkus one packet of chili for me. Yeah. So after makan, very thirsty, right? I said, okay, my favorite drink, Milo ice. Hey, bro, Milo ice, bungkus satu, ikat tepi. So I can drink while I'm driving. Okay. So he get me. Bungkus Milo ice, ikat tepi, and then it comes with, wow, so convenient. With a straw, so I can use it. Yeah. Okay. Hey, wait. He has this bubur kacang. The bubur kacang merah, very nice. So I said, hey, bungkus one for me. He said, no problem. I give you a nice container so you can eat. Okay. So he bungkus. Wow, nice container. This. And then it comes with, wow, I see the spoon, green color one. Very nice. Yeah, bungkus for me. Okay, all bungkus. How to carry? Plastic bag. So he gave me one plastic bag to put the hot food, and he gave me another plastic bag to put the cold drinks. So we separate up. Now, I want to ask you, did you all count how many single-use plastic do I use? No, right? Agak-agak, tahu tak? You don't know. Let me tell you. We use just now for one breakfast, I've used 9 single-use plastic for one breakfast. Yeah, to your sake. So what? Tapao, so convenient. Now why should I bring my own container? Let me tell you behind the scene. Most of us always like to assume this is manufactured in a factory and is left on the shelf. And a 4-legged fella passed by. 4-legged, you know what, Okay. And then after that, this is shipped over to a restaurant. And this restaurant, very good. He put it under the shelf. And under the shelf, wow, you know what? Our friend happily running around on your packet box. So when you tap and eat, why am I having stomach ache and diarrhea? This could be one of the cause. And I'll say, hey brother, where is the fork? Bring the fork. The fork. Oh, oops. Wait. Dropped on the floor. So sorry. Never mind. Just put it. Milo ice satu. Okay, Milo ice satu. Nanti bos, saya mau cari itu plastik nanti ya. Ini plastik mana susah mau buka lah. Want me air? It's not air, okay? This is what they do all the time. Wow, I tell you, Malaysia, our weather is very, very hot one, right? Not, And then when the hot, ayo, my God, straw. Oh yeah, I forgot the straw. Wait, the straw. Yeah, the straw. The straw. Put inside. Sedapnya. Wow, today, oh, very, very nice. So a little bit, got this salty. Very, very nice. So, my friend, this thing is happening all the time because you don't see it and you assume it's very, very hygienic and clean. Let me tell you, single-use plastic, after using it, you will just dispose it. And where does it go? You don't know. It could land up into the river and later to the sea. And to the sea, someone will think that this is jellyfish and you will and eat it. The turtles might eat it and other mammals. So all this, why? Because of convenience. From your convenience, it becomes your habits. Yeah. So the next time when you babao, please remember what I just tell you. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go back to our slide. Okay. So try not to use too much of this single-use plastic. Yeah. Okay. As you know that Mother Earth is actually very, very upset. Yeah. It's up to you. How do you want to treat our Mother Earth? Mother Earth will say, no problem. I can evolve. You treat me badly, I will treat you badly. Right? Okay. So we need your pairs of hands. All right. We have two good, beautiful hands. Make good use of it. All right. And save our planet Earth. With two hands, you can do recycling and many, many good things. Yeah. So with this, what I call that QR code, I would like you all to take your handphone out and scan it. Now, we have a lot of recycle center and recycle point throughout the whole Malaysia. So probably you'll be staying maybe in Damansara or in Bangsa or in Salasau, you know, there will be some of this, our recycle center around there and recycle point. The recycle point is every third week of the Sunday. We will have the recycle point around, okay, your area there. Right. So if the world is going to get better, it's gonna be up to you. This is your generation world to shape, okay? But I'll leave you with some advice, yeah? First, don't be afraid, okay? Break up with your single-use plastic, all right? And stop your habits. And do what you think is right, okay? Bring your own container, all right? And you'll be part of the solution instead of be part of the problem, yeah? So if we are going to save the environment, we have to do it together, all right? And it all starts from you and today. Now, I'm going to conclude my talk for today by this video presentation, okay? Because I have not much time, I will be able to share with you more details on others. Hopefully that we could meet one day after the MCO. I'll be able to give you a more exciting talk, all right? So let's watch this video on my conclusion.
This video is a true story. Yesterday, I went to McDonald's to buy a drink. But the drink came with no plastic straw. I said to the cashier, "Sorry, does this come with a straw?" They said, "Sorry, we don't use plastic straws." Why? Because McDonald's wants to protect the environment, so they ban the use of plastic straws. This surprised me, because I looked around and saw that spoons are still made of plastic. The cover of that same drink was still made of plastic, and McDonald's was still selling meat that is responsible for 15% of greenhouse gas emissions. 15%. So why do they care so much about plastic straws but not everything else? The answer to that, turns out, is called selective empathy. This is a problem that all humans suffer from. We selectively care about one thing, yet we do not care about another. For example, plastic. We care about plastic straws because we see a turtle that was hurt by one. But we don't care about all the other plastic that caused the death of millions. The same company that wants to save turtles is responsible for the death of millions of other animals every year. This is selective empathy in action. Animals. We care about some animals, but not others. When the Chinese eat dog meat, many Westerners were horrified. Yet the same people go home and enjoy a nice beef steak. We feel empathy for a dog, but we don't feel it for a cow. That's why a slaughterhouse worker can kill thousands of cows every day and go home to pet their dog. Humans. All humans are created equal, but do we care about them equally? Some humans we relate to more, so we care about them more. This is selective empathy in action, and I am guilty of it. I personally felt devastated by the death of one journalist by Saudi Arabia, but I didn't feel devastated by the death of thousands of people right nearby in Yemen. Why is that? A single death is a tragedy, a million deaths is a statistic. This is a sad quote, and unfortunately, it's true. As I sat there drinking my McDonald's drink with no straw, surrounded by meat and more plastic, I couldn't help but ask myself, do we really care about plastic, about animals, about humans? Or do we only care about some plastic, some animals, and some humans? This is a question worth asking, no matter how uncomfortable it is to answer. Saving one plastic straw is good, but caring about the actual problem is even better.
Well, thank you, Francis. Wow, you got my stomach churning over there for a bit. It's interesting to see the numbers, and you don't realize how when you go to a shop,
Yes.
with just one simple order, this is what happens. You bring back tons of garbage, even though you bring your own container, for example,
Yep.
but they might insert a chopstick, which is packed in a plastic bag, or they might give you, never mind, it's okay, you can keep this plastic bag to carry your container, and even if you refuse, you say, tak apa, it's free.
Yeah.
So it is interesting to see how you all have created this awareness, but stay on. I'd like to invite Susie back for the Q&A session.
Sure.
We have a couple of questions for the both of you. Hi, Susie.
Hi.
All right, looking at our time, we still have about, this is our Q&A. Now, we have about 10 minutes left. The first question, Susie, goes to you.
Sure.
It is in this current situation, right? How has the various COVID lockdowns and in our country, MCO, CMCO, has affected cloth recycling industry, both in Malaysia or even internationally?
Oh my God, that's a very good question. So as you know, I mentioned during my presentation just now that we export it out from the country as well, and to African nation and other developing countries. Due to the lockdown, we are not able to do that. So while we have collected enormous amount of unwanted fabrics, but we are all stuck to export that and to give them a new life to a large extent. Yes, it has affected us badly.
That's sad, but we hope that it will get back on track again once all this settled down.
Exactly. But the thing is that also the truth is that, I've been reading journals, articles, there's fear of unwanted clothing due to COVID-19 as well. So that's another drama, but I'm sure we can sort it out with science.
Yeah, thank you. And the next question goes to Mr. Francis.
Yes.
I was one of those who didn't know how to pronounce Suchi. So now, based on you have started this environmental protection initiative a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Through your initiatives and awareness campaign, did you see the amount of reduction that took place, or did you see, when you first started, how much of waste was collected, and then fast forward a couple of years now, did you see that vast difference? And are we really doing it right?
Oh yes, we have seen a vast of difference. That initially, everyone, they do not know what can be recycled and what cannot be recycled. So to them, everything they think is recyclable, they just send to our center. So our center is more on the education center. Our recycle education center. So we educate the public on telling them how to separate the resources and what can be done, cannot be done, and make sure they are clean when you send it over, right? And we also notice that there are some of these materials are getting lesser, and some are even getting more and more. For example, as we know that newspaper are getting lesser and lesser because we are all looking at the phone and instead of buying papers, yeah. And the most important thing is to educate the public. The most important thing is not more about bringing in all the resources into your center. Is to tell them to refuse, reduce, and reuse it. Okay, if you can repair it, and then the last only, please only you recycle it.
That's true. That's true. Now, looking at the time, we have one last question, and this one goes to Susie.
Yeah,
Susie, location for your bins. Are you planning to extend? Because we do have some questions from our audiences in East Malaysia and also in Terengganu and Johor. So they are hoping if you could extend, if there are any possibility, and if yes, when?
Well, truthfully, we wanted to, we signed a partnership deal with EE Daman prior to MCO, whereby we're supposed to expand to Kedah, Perlis, and Perak. Unfortunately, we have to stop that. It's only because a logistic problem, we are not able to export, and a lot of others. We hope to expand, but with uncertainty now, I don't know what to say.
I know. We hope, we hope. I think it all takes time. With all this uncertainty, with things are changing, the way we operate are changing. But we can hope that it will get better. Now, looking at our time, I'd like to thank both of you. Audiences, if you'd like to get in touch with them, you can visit their website, get in touch with them. Amazing work that they're doing.